Hey, guys, and welcome back to, I shouldn't say welcome back because this is going to be the first episode of season 2 of Black Girls Unforgettable and Unscripted. And tonight I'm super excited because my first guest of the new year is my cousin, Keisha Johnson Williams. What's up, Doc?
What's up? Happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. This is awesome.
You know, I shared with you earlier, I'm always telling people like my cousins do this or my family does that. And I'm sure people are like, yeah, she got family that does this. Yeah, you got a cousin. You mean like a cousin, right? And I'm like, no, my family is blessed enough to have a little bit of everything, you know.
Super
So
dope.
thank
Super dope family.
Yeah, we do. It is pretty dope. I'm gonna have to, put a t-shirt on this and my family is doper than yours, you know. Again, thank you for taking the time to come out because I guess you're not like a new mom anymore because baby girl's gonna be one soon, right?
Look, I'm still new and I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. So yes, I am new. Until the second one, prayerfully. But yeah, Bellamy Grace is now 9 months old. She runs our world. She is the ultimate boss baby. So she's doing everything but walking at this point. So it's been a lot of fun though. But chaotic at the same time.
I love it. And I'm so upset that because of COVID, I have not gotten a chance to put my hands on that baby. I've been waiting for this baby and now I can't even get her. This is killing me.
She hasn't even met her grandmother from New Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
With everything going on. So we've been doing a lot of video chatting, talking on the phone, which has just been great. But of course, it's not the same. So hopefully once everything settles down, we can all get together and everybody can meet her, But she's used to the Zoom. She knows what Zoom is. We bought her own laptop, baby laptop for Christmas because she's been in so many meetings and Zooms. And it's sad, but she enjoys it.
That's super adorable. So I already know you really well, but a lot of my audience doesn't. Can you take a couple minutes and just kind of introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm Keisha Williams. A lot of you guys may know me as Keisha Johnson. Johnson's my maiden name. I am a family medicine physician in Virginia Beach. I've always known I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 5 years old. I wore the whole doctor's fit for career day, and everybody's like, "Yeah, oh, sure, you're going to be a doctor." Like, really? And then I actually blessed to answer the call to be one because I truly feel it is a calling. And went to Old Dominion University for undergrad 4 years. Then I had a little lapse of 3 years of my education, and then went to Ross University School of Medicine, which was in Dominica at the time. It is now in Barbados. Yeah, they had the really bad hurricanes a few years ago, so they had to shift the campus over to Barbados. So it went from there to residency at Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk. And then from then, after those 3 years, I joined the practice that I'm at now. So it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, I mean, it literally seems like you have been around the world because you went to Dominica and then came back.
Yes. Around the world and then some, it feels like. I don't for anything in the world. I mean,
so let's backtrack for a second. You said you've known you wanted to be a doctor since you were 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly can say that I remember that. But so what was it that at so young that you identified with that made you want to do this?
I mean, at that point, at that time, it was very immature. I mean, my doctor gave us lollipops after we left. So I thought that was cool. I was like, whoever can do that and make a child feel better by giving them a lollipop, then sign me up. So, of course, that was the reasoning at first. And then it matured with several different experiences that I've had in my life, whether it's helping to care for family members with chronic illness, my volunteerism activities, my journey and travel to Dominica and starting really my journey of medicine there. Um, you know, this road is hard, and I've had a lot of detours, and I don't think necessary detours along the way. But I answered the call, and I truly feel like it was a calling on my life, because every time I would want to leave it and be like, okay, this is too hard, this is too much. I'm studying all night. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. What am I doing? I'm missing so much. Then I felt this thing in my ear, or I felt, I truly felt the Lord telling me, no, this is what you're destined to do. This is your purpose. This is what you're supposed to do. And that's really the only thing that kept me going a lot of times that I wanted to give up. So yeah, I truly feel like it is a calling. That's why I always tell folks I have a love-hate relationship with that. But the call, I mean, I can't deny it. And I love what I do. And that's really what it is.
I remember like conversations that we've had, you know, especially when you were in this area, but we had a conversation when you were saying, yeah, if you're going to go to medical school, you got to love it. I mean, you really have to have a passion for it.
I mean, and it's beyond passion, because passion can just, you know, I can be passionate to skydive. I mean, you do it, that's it. Or, I mean, I feel like a lot of times being passionate is very fleeting. But yeah, it definitely is a calling. I mean, my mom always say, well, you know, in high school, when I got like a C or a D on a test, she's like, you gotta love it, you gotta dream it, you gotta think it, you gotta, you know. And even to this day, I still hear her in my ear saying that. I mean, but it has to be more than, oh, I like helping people. I mean, especially in the times that we're living in. I mean, there are days that I wake up and I'm like, all right, I feel well. I don't have any symptoms. All right, let's put my scrubs on and go to work. I mean, it's rough. And, you know, I mean, I feel like this year has challenged a lot of practitioners as far as why they're really doing this. But you know, we keep coming back.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Very, very true. I really want to talk about that part, like you practicing more, but I'm gonna kind of like, I kind of got to put you on like the spot a little bit before we can get to you know, we got to get a little bit of an appetizer before we get to the meat and potatoes, you know.
Okay.
So you mentioned your grades, okay, in high school. Okay, so I remember a Keisha Johnson who had not gotten anything but straight A's, and then she got a B. Do you remember the story behind you getting that B?
Yes, I remember my first B. I was in 7th grade, and I was absolutely devastated. That B. And I will say, my mom did not help the situation. And because there was, I had like this little hidden competition with this other girl in my class. She was really smart too, and she was like, "Well, what did she?" My mom was like, "Well, what did she get on it? What did she get this year?" You know, come on. Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, my first B was in 7th grade, and I fell apart. And then I got used to getting B's, and then I would get the occasional C. And then AP biology came. It was my senior or junior year, and that's when I got a D. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me. This isn't for me. And I kept trucking along. But yeah, I will definitely tell you, and you know this, that I'm the overachiever. And, you know, when I used to get the B's or C's or even that occasional D, I would fall apart. And this journey kind of wise me up real quick. Like, you don't have time to sit in the corner and fall apart. You better pull it together and keep on moving.
Right.
So yeah, I had to put on my big girl panties after those moments.
So I'm really glad that you said that about like not sitting in a corner and just falling apart, because you know a lot of young ladies, I coach high school track and field, so a lot of young ladies, the pressure that they put on themselves to be perfect, to have the perfect GPA, you know, and then when something falls short, then they immediately they do fall apart, and like the depressions come and all of that. especially girls more than boys. You know, I don't understand where we get this, um, where we put ourselves like we have to achieve this here, as opposed to being like, I've done the best that I can. I've absolutely done the best that I can. eh, So I just have to try to do better the next time. Instead, we take it as it's a real failure in.
I mean, I feel like girls nowadays, I mean, they have so many more pressures than what we experienced growing up, especially with social media and
Mhm.
all. I mean, back in our days, it was just the magazines,
Mhm.
or just a commercial on TV. Now, I mean, the pressures are so overwhelming because it's coming at you in every direction. Uh,
Absolutely.
but I feel like with Black girls, since we're unscripted, we
Mhm.
put unnecessary pressure on ourselves because of society. To be
Mhm.
honest with you, and we're trying to keep
Mhm.
higher and higher as far as professionally. And I mean, my mom would always say, "I want you to do better than me."
Mhm.
Like, okay, I got to do it. I got to do it. Everybody's eyes are on me. Like if I don't do it, then what's going to happen? Is my family going to look down upon me, or what am I going to do with my life if I don't do this, or if I don't make
Mhm.
it? We do it a lot to ourselves, Black girls, and it's unfortunate. But a lot of times you're the only one in the room
Mhm.
as a Black girl, and you put that pressure on yourself because you're,
Mhm.
well, I mean, obviously I'm the only Black one here, so I have to represent. I have to represent for
Right.
my people. There's so many folks, there's so many, shoulders, like, I mean, there's so many, my ancestors are looking at me right now. They're depending on me. Like they
Mhm.
marched for this. They fought for this. They died for this. They died for me to be here.
Right.
Uh, so, I mean, hopefully it gets better with more representation of us in the variety of fields. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
So since you brought this up about
Yeah,
being the only Black girl in the room, or
yeah,
even maybe just the only Black person period in the room,
yeah.
have you had struggles dealing with that? I mean, were there like professors that already like discounted you because, oh, you're the Black girl, so they already know that you're
I
not
mean,
going to pass my class, or
my high school counselor really pretty much wrote me off, wasn't trying to help me as far as scholarships and such. So I was blessed that one of the women that I went to church with, she was another counselor in the same high school. So she pretty much just took me under her wing, was like, Keisha, I
oh,
got you. But I mean, I will say there's only 2% of Black female physicians in the US. Oh, as the physician, just in the physician base, there's only 2%
right.
that are Black female. It's nuts.
That's
So when you
absolutely
think
insane.
I
That
mean,
is,
that's really something to think about. And yeah, I've dealt with, I've dealt with patients calling me the N word, or
wow.
in medical school. I'll never forget it. And um, folks call the practice and they're like, "Well, is she Black?"
Wow.
My name is pretty obvious. I mean,
No, not anymore. Not
before,
anymore.
before they schedule an appointment with me.
Right.
Um, so I've had quite a few experiences with that, unfortunately. As late as like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but here I am. I'm not
Right.
going anywhere. I mean, if I don't meet your expectations, or if the color of my skin makes you feel that uncomfortable, then there are other primary care physicians out there. Believe me, you're not hurting my feelings. I'd rather you go.
Right, right, exactly. Because you already know going in that nothing you do is going to be right, and
It
nothing you say
doesn't.
is going to be followed.
It doesn't
Hmm.
make a difference. That's why I learned to put my big girl panties on real early.
Right,
I
right.
mean, it used to really bother me, but I'm like, well, what can I do? I can't do anything. It doesn't matter how well I treat them, or how
Hmm.
big of a smile I have on my face. It's not
Hmm.
going to satisfy everyone, and I'm okay with that. It is
And, you
what it is.
know, and to know that the route that you have to take to get to where you are, that's the kind of nonsense you have to deal with. And so you had mentioned you went to ODU for undergrad. So and you took that 3-year break in
Yeah.
between. So you did something really special while you were on that break. Can you share what I'm talking about? There was some traveling involved.
Yes. Now, I will say the 3-year break was not something that I wanted or anticipated.
Right.
To be quite transparent, medical school is very competitive getting in, and it really took me 3 years of applying, getting in.
Mm.
So when I got that acceptance letter from Ross, or no, I got the phone call. They called me. I didn't care where it was. I was going. I was going, right? But yeah, I went. I actually. The funny thing is, it's crazy how God works.
Okay.
When I talk about answering the call, because I remember my last year of college. One of my friends, she was working at a physical therapy place at the time, and she had gotten medical school, but her spot was opening up. So she was like,
Mm.
"This would be a great opportunity. Get some clinical skills under your belt. Clinical experience." And I was like, "All right, all right." So I worked in physical therapy as a physical therapist tech, and also the practice manager for like 3
Mm.
years. Now, in that time, that same friend, she was also volunteering at Physicians for Peace, which is an
Mm.
organization that sends medical mission teams to underserved places all over the world to perform many surgeries. Variety of surgeries, whether it's burn revisions or cleft lips and palates. So she was like, "Yeah, my spot is opening there too." So I was like, "Yeah, what the heck? I have nothing to lose. I'm not really doing much of anything anyway, but applying to medical school." So I took it. And the opportunity came up for me to volunteer with this medical mission to Ramallah, Palestine for cleft lip and palate surgeries for children.
Mm.
I was a member of the team. I was able to take the before and after pictures of the patients, do some amazing sightseeing in Jerusalem. Was able to see a lot of the holy sites that we only read in the Bible about, but can only
Right.
actually sing in person. But it was absolutely incredible, and that really that continued to spark my interest in medicine and just further confirm that this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, so it was absolutely incredible.
That's fantastic. You were saying about how every time you would think you want to do something else, the Lord be in your ear, pulling you back. This was your journey. I mean, seriously, those for you to have had this door open, that door open, to get you to traveling, overseas to the Middle East and doing this, your steps were already paved. You had to take that journey to get there, so that now you're like, okay, that piqued my interest even more about being in medicine. So yeah, we may say, well, I wish I would have done it right away, but no, the Lord blessed you and he took you on a journey, and he showed you the beginnings. He took you back to the beginnings.
Always tell young women, especially, or just young people in general, when they're looking at taking this path. I'm like, the detours are okay. Trust the process. It doesn't. At the time, you're like, well, what's really happening? But I
Right.
always tell them to follow their leads, follow any lead, because you never know where that's going to take you. You never know who you're going to meet in the process. You never know who they're going to know.
Right.
You just never know. So take all leads, take advantage of every single lead that you're given. Even if it's I was like, oh, I don't want to be a physical therapist. What is that going to do for me? But it has opened so many doors for me in the process.
I love it. I love it. So you went to Ross Medical School, right?
Yes.
When it was in Dominica.
Yeah.
And I happened to a few not seasons ago, but a few episodes ago in the last season, Thea LaFond actually was on here, and she shared a little bit about her country, and competing for her in the Olympics. But there's something unique about Ross Medical School, right? Like it's not just like a school. The school is what actually the hospital. Is that correct? Like
N-
the
Not exactly. Ross, let's say you do the first 1.5 years on campus, which is in Portsmouth, Dominica. I'll just say
okay.
Portsmouth, like the city, one of the cities. And then from that point, you get to choose where you want to do your actual clinicals, whether you want to do them. At the time, it was you want to start them in Miami, or I think the other one was Michigan, and then, or you could stay in Dominica.
Okay.
And I stayed in Dominica for
Okay.
that semester. Because a lot of times you don't have the luxuries of that American medicine can afford, as far as the tools and
Right.
personnel,
Right.
so I learned so much great medicine in Dominica, because hey, you have this and this. What are you going to do with it? You have to make it happen, make it work, and make it happen. And I mean, the doctors, the physicians over there that I met were absolutely brilliant. I remember this one ER physician. I was just doing a couple of nights with her at the hospital, which was actually in Roseau, which is the capital of Dominica.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to go get something to eat. I want you to see these next few patients." I was like, "Wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? What, take their history, physical, I'll be back, and we'll chit chat about them." But it was one of those things that I felt like I'm being thrown into the fire right now.
Uh-huh.
But hey, I had to put my big girl panties on.
And you didn't burn either. You didn't burn in that fire.
Burn, and she said I did a great job, and everybody stayed alive and got great care. So as a medical student, really, that's all that matters. I just don't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
But yeah, those type of opportunities, I know I wouldn't have been had anywhere else but
Right.
Dominica, and staying that semester there.
Was that probably your most memorable moment there, is being able to see patients?
One of them, I would say that's my most memorable clinical moment. I would say my most memorable just leisure moment in Dominica. I remember we were there for Easter. And over here, in America, it's so commercialized. So it's easy to not really focus on the true meaning of Easter. But over there, it's none of the commercialism. You don't have the malls. You don't have the it's completely different. So I was able to go to Easter sunrise service off the beach.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Absolutely incredible, and I felt the presence of God so strong in that moment, and that would have to be my most memorable moment, because one thing that Dominica, or just going to Ross, taught me was just to enjoy the simplicities of life. Over there, they like I said, they don't have the luxuries that America has, but I think there's a beauty in that, because you're able to really focus on what's truly important in life. And you only go around this merry-go-round life once. And what's really important? Family, and caring for your loved ones, and just enjoying life. And I didn't really understand that, or how important that was, or the value of that, until I went over there to study.
That was your stop and smell the roses moment then.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Okay, so let's jump to, you graduate from med school. So what's the next process after finish this?
Okay. So then after that, after medical school, you go to residency. So family medicine residency is 3 years.
So how do you decide where you're going?
Okay, as far as like where the residency that you do, there's a thing called the match.
Okay, so break that down.
A bunch of different residency programs in the country. You hopefully get called for interviews. You go to those places and interview, and then after you interview at all of your choices,
Mm-hmm.
rank them from 1 to 6, or 1 to how many places that you received interviews for.
Okay.
And then you hope that your top choice will also rank you as one of their top choices. So that's why they call it the match.
Wow, that's like really like Russian roulette.
Exactly. You hope that both come in the middle. So really, it was between me going to or staying in Norfolk, or me going to Arkansas, University of Arkansas. And I love the program. I hear that they really liked me too, but I ranked BBMS higher.
Gotcha.
So, and they obviously liked me as well. So that's how I ended up in Norfolk, or
That's
Portsmouth. Yeah.
that's really interesting. Like a match, like you're putting it out there that you're gonna. Oh, let me check out this place. Let me check out that place. It's like dating.
It is.
Like
It is. It is. And you walk away and be like, I hope they like me. I hope
can we get a second date?
I hope the blouse wasn't too light of a color. Or I hope my little purse didn't come off too much. Or, I mean, you nitpick everything. But it's funny being on the other side of it, because while I was in residency, I was part of our recruitment committee, as far as going through all of the applications and helping to rank our applicants. So it was actually fun, and also interviewing the applicants. So it was a lot of fun being on the other end of it as well.
Okay, so with doing your rotations and being in medical school, I mean, I guess not so much medical school, but like when you're doing your residency and stuff, and you're a doctor, you're seeing patients. I know that every patient that you've seen has not walked away from this, and it's an awkward question to ask, but because it does happen and it's real life, when you did lose your first patient, not because of anything that you all did, it's just it was their time. How did that feel?
I remember one in particular. I was in it was my intern year, which is the first year of residency, and he was in his 80s, almost 90s, and was his third round of having this cancer.
Wow.
And I had walked with him and the family for about 2-3 weeks, as far as caring for him. And he passed away. And I remember when it happened, I'll never forget it, because I walked in the call room and it was my senior resident and another intern, and I busted in the call room, and then I went to our bathroom, slammed the door, and fell completely apart. And then my co-intern came in and just helped me. And I bawled. And they knew exactly what had happened.
Right.
They knew exactly who had passed. And it was something that we were expecting, but I mean, the way it hit me was just indescribable. And after that, I got myself together, took a couple of minutes, and I knew I had to push through other patients. And I mean, I will say from that point on, and this is with any patient that I lose, I take the time to be in the moment.
Okay.
And feel the loss. And what helps me is I write sympathy cards to the families. And a lot of times I've never even had any type of interaction with the families, because I'm an outpatient practice now. But it makes me feel like I do have some type of connection with them. And that gives me peace in writing those sympathy cards. And but like I was telling you before, you can't just sit in the corner and cry and cry. As much as you want to do that, you have to continue doing your job. And even when I leave work, I still feel it. It'll come back, and I'll come home and I'll tell my husband, yeah, I lost a patient today. And he's like, wow, how do you feel about it? And then I'm able to kind of, not discuss the actual patient, but just discuss how I feel.
Right.
So I really allow, it doesn't get any easier,
Mm.
but I allow myself to be in the moment and actually feel the loss.
Mm.
Uh,
That's healing. That's
it
like a
is.
form of healing because,
It is. It
you
is.
know, so that's
It is.
especially even the fact that you can come home and there's someone there,
Mhm,
your awesome husband, that you
mhm.
can just say, "Babe," and you can be vulnerable there,
Yeah.
and you can just let all of that out. So that's
Yeah. I mean, not saying that I don't shed a few tears even when I come home, but I
right,
know I can't sit in that mourning
right,
the entire day because I wouldn't get anything done.
right,
Get anything else done. I wouldn't. If it was my choice, I wouldn't see any more patients for the rest of the day. I would just sit and write my card and just sit in the morning. But my job doesn't afford me to do that. Uh,
right.
but in my own way, I do. I find peace, and I hope that the families do as well.
So when you were in the bathroom crying, what got you out the door to go back and continue working that day? Did someone say something to you? I mean,
Um. Well, I realize. I mean, as a resident or intern, I
mhm,
mean, there's so much work to be done while you're there. And it's sad to say, I hate saying that, but
uh-huh,
I had to kind of move on and be like, okay, I got how many more patients to see today? How many more patients to write notes on? How many folks I got to check on before I leave for the night, for the evening? But really, I'll say just the workload itself was really what kind of just pushed me through residency when I had those experiences.
all right.
Yeah.
Um, so let's fast forward to like let's say 2020. Let's talk about 2020.
2020.
Okay. 2020. So for you, 2020 is you had a hot girl summer and
I
now
did.
we got a baby coming, right?
I really had a hot girl summer. 2019 was
2019.
fun. It was so much. We had a ball. Like we were going out to brunch and hell every weekend and
Hmm.
partying. We had an absolute ball. And then Bellamy uh,
Uh-huh.
showed up.
Uh-huh.
Um, and Bellamy came in April 21st to be exact. And that was really at the height of everything that was
Right.
so. I
So
mean,
let's go before she's due.
yeah.
Before we know about this chick that has appeared here that we really would like to go home. We want her to go back home, pack her bags, and stay. COVID-19. Tell her go, but she's trying to stay around. So pre-COVID, tell me what you're feeling. Tell me about work. Tell me what you think about your schedule. Tell me about how you're feeling about being pregnant and gonna be delivering this baby. Like, what kind of high are you on?
Pre-COVID, geez, and during my pregnancy, I lucked out with my pregnancy. When they say it's only morning sickness,
Hmm.
that it was never in the morning for me. It was always in the afternoon, right when I'm finishing up with my last patient. And
Oh,
all glory to glory to God, because I was just powering. I would always power through, and then um, it would come on, and then it would last until literally last through the evening. Um, so I lucked out. I'll have to say when it came to that from that standpoint. But really, I had to establish boundaries when it came to my job because I can come home prior to Bellamy being here. I could come home and stay on my computer for hours, checking results that were lab results that are coming in for patients, checking over my notes,
mhm.
looking forward and looking at the day ahead and looking at my patient panel schedule, see what I have to look forward to. Um, I mean, it can get pretty obsessive, and
Mhm.
because it is really a 24-hour job. Um, and I realize I cannot be staying up at 9 o'clock at night doing stuff, doing work stuff,
Right.
because when baby gets here, they're not going to care what I have to do when I get home. Or most of the
Absolutely.
time, it was really nothing that I had to do. It was just me being me and just overthinking things.
Hmm.
And I realized, like, look, I have to I have to establish boundaries right here, right now. After 8 or after 7, I'm done because, like I said, when I get home, Bellamy is like, "Mama, come get me, come feed me, come nurse me, come play with me." She doesn't care, and I don't expect her. I mean, she's a baby. I wouldn't expect her to, and I owe her, and I owe my family that time. So yeah, I really had to, like I said, put on my big girl panties on and say, hey, we got to make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she definitely has done that for me in the best way possible.
Okay. So the end of, all right, so February comes, end of February, beginning of March, COVID, bam. The United States is hit with this virus. First it was overseas, now the United States is hit with this virus. You're expecting, you're due. Things are absolutely crazy. Healthcare workers, as well as a large majority of Americans, are perishing from this disease, this virus. Where's your head? You have to have a baby. You're gonna have a baby.
I was scared out of my mind because
Mm,
there's so much more that we need to figure out about this virus now. But at that time,
right.
we had no idea what was going on or what was on the horizon. And my biggest fear was me getting sick,
Mm-hmm.
me bringing it home to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so nervous. And then at that time, I was lucky to have my husband to be at the delivery, but not everybody was so lucky.
So
And
that's changed.
yeah, well, it depends on the hospital.
Uh-huh.
It really depended on the hospital at that time. But really, it was just me and him. We couldn't have any other visitors. I will say, before my delivery, I was able, my employer allowed me to stay at home for the last 4 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
They really didn't know, as far as pregnant women, as far as the risk
Mm-hmm.
of contracting the virus. So I was able to work from home, telework, be in my sweatpants at the bottom, have my sweatpants on the bottom, have my white coat on top. It was amazing. I loved it. So that gave me some peace and some reassurance that I was going to be okay. But it was scary. It was scary.
Yeah,
It still is. It's still,
exactly. So what practices did you guys implement at home as far as like pre-Bellamy, just to make sure that you were, being safe? What did you do? Like when you were still when you were still working and you were coming home, were there certain things that you did? Was there like a routine that you had in place?
well, um, once it really hit, that's when I made
Mhm.
the transition to home.
Okay,
So
okay,
it was pretty quick for me,
okay.
as far as being able to work from home. But I will say, going back to work from maternity leave, I instead of wearing my regular business clothing, I'm in scrubs now.
Mhm,
And then once I get home, I strip down,
mhm,
wash up before I
mhm.
even touch Bellamy. Um, so that's something that has definitely changed. And I actually like wearing scrubs now. I don't know if I'll ever. I don't know if I'll ever go
It's so
back.
convenient. So convenient.
So convenient. It's so convenient. So that's one of the biggest things that we've done. That changed once I went back from maternity leave, and of course, keeping everything sanitized, Bellamy's toys, and wiping things down with bleach,
Mhm,
um, and limiting our exposures. Being out and about, and we're both extroverts to a point. So it's been hard on us, but hey, we both had close calls when it comes to this virus. So you do what you got to do
mhm.
to protect not only us, but especially Bellamy.
Right. So you have so you were talking about being really cautious and limiting your exposure. But yet and still, like, you're doing these good things. There's so many people out here still not doing the right things, because this summer, the belief was that COVID was on vacation or something.
COVID is not on vacation, and COVID has never been on vacation. I don't know what folks have. I don't know what they're what a lot of folks are thinking. But COVID is still here, and it will not be gone for a very, very. I mean, it's going to take a while for it to completely be gone. Hopefully, the vaccines will help, and I expect them to. I expect them to make a huge difference, but it's still here. We still have to practice common sense.
Right. So the practices that are already in place, you're just saying, okay, you still need to wash your hands. You still need to wipe your
hands, sanitize, don't be in large crowds. I mean, the basics. I mean, I don't know. I find it so strange and odd that folks are surprised when I tell them the same things that the CDC has been preaching for the last 9 months or so. 9 months. But people are people.
That's very true.
People are going to continue to people. Doesn't matter what's going on. You kind of have to go with the flow.
So you said that, you have to, at one point in time, that how you could work, you would come home and you would, doing your notes and all this stuff. Since COVID has been here, have you found it more difficult to stop that at the end of that time? Because maybe do you have more like of a caseload now? You have more patients coming in, more people calling. I mean, has that changed your routine of being able to say 7:00, I'm done?
No, I mean, I have to have my time.
Okay.
I mean, you have to preserve.
I got you.
You have to preserve yourself through all of this, or you completely lose your mind if you don't create those boundaries and maintain them. I mean, I am a firm component of mental health being as important as physical health. And if I didn't have that time, I would probably lose it with everything going on, because it's so it's so overwhelming. Everything that is happening with the phone, phone calls as far as when the vaccine is coming in.
Because you have some, right?
And
you got some vaccine, right? You got the family hookup. We got the family hookup, right?
I wish I did. I don't have hookups for anybody. I didn't even have the hookup for myself. But once my employer emailed me, I was like, "Yep, gotta go." I signed up for a day and time, and that was it. And it was 2 days later, the email that I got my first dose.
Awesome. So can you share how you feel? How long ago has it been since you had your first dose? And
a week. It's been a week.
So did you have any complications from the?
I mean, my arm hurt.
But that was pretty much it.
That was it. I felt.
That's amazing.
Otherwise, I mean, but not everybody's so
right.
Lucky. Some people do experience some mild side effects, fevers, chills,
right.
muscle aches.
Right.
But usually they're very limiting.
Right.
A couple of days and then you're back to yourself.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that part. So let me ask you, so young ladies or just young people in general, if they're even considering the medical field, what kind of advice would you give to them?
I would tell them to really, really know the reason for them doing it. Like really understand why. Really, really find that reason why they're doing it, because that thing is what's going to carry you. Like for me, I knew that there was a call on my life to do it, so I couldn't deny it. So I just that's what I always fell on, and the worst moment of the worst that I experienced in my journey. And like I said before, it's okay to have those detours. And to trust those and to follow your leads, follow any lead that's given to you. I mean, volunteering at, Children's Hospital or just, or something that's like, let's say you want to be a surgeon, like you get an opportunity to volunteer at a nursing home or something like that. You never know what's going to come out of it.
Right.
Never know. I mean, everything, I will say, every lead that I followed led to something else, led to something else, led to something else.
Right.
So yeah, and just know, I mean, your journey. I mean, you don't have to follow everybody else's journey. I mean,
Right.
your journey is your journey,
Right.
and trust that.
So basically, if there's a door that's open, there's a reason why that door is open. Even if you just stick your toe through the door, you need to.
No, you bust that thing down. You bust that door. You kick it down. Right. Whatever you got to do, you get through that door. You never know. You never know.
Oh, okay. So I know you're on vacation, so this week you're having a little staycation time, which is
Yes. My staycation is coming to a close. I go back to work on Monday.
so I do want to thank you so much for taking time away from the little princess, the boss, aka Miss Bellamy Grace, to be here. But before we leave, I can't let you escape without asking you the infamous pivot questions.
Okay.
These are questions that were originally created by a French writer who had a television show and then made popular by the late James Lipton, who was the host of Inside the Actors Studio.
Okay.
So we're just gonna we're gonna find out all about Keisha in these 10 questions. Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Okay. So first, what is your favorite word?
Oh, my favorite word. um, you know what? I'm going to say, really, my favorite word would be purpose.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word. I don't know. I don't have a least favorite word. I don't know.
You know, something somebody says and we're like, I hate when people say that.
Oh, gosh, I can't even think. What, I guess a word that I can't spell would be my least favorite.
Okay. That's an interesting take on that. A word that you can't spell. That's an interesting take.
Well,
So, what turns you on creatively, emotionally, physically? Either one of those or all of those. You can answer it any way you want to.
what turns me on? I will say professionally, I mean, just in my line of work, I love it when a patient is truly motivated
Huh.
to make lifestyle changes. I mean, nothing makes me more, I mean, nothing gets me, gets me going more than that. Because I know I can only do so much.
Uh-huh.
Medications that I can prescribe can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, most of it is you and your lifestyle choices, diet, exercise, really the basics that really no one wants to follow nowadays.
Right.
Everybody wants a quick fix. But when a patient comes to me and said, "Hey, I really want to make changes in my life. What can I do?" And then they make those changes and they see the benefit of those. Nothing is more rewarding than that for me.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What is your favorite curse word?
It starts with F and ends with A.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I say it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
But
times and bad.
I'm more mindful now that I have a child. So the last thing I need is for her first word to be that. But yeah, that's my favorite.
Gotcha. What noise or sound do you love?
That I love. I don't know if you can hear it now, but it's my child singing.
Oh,
Loves to sing, and and her giggle, like, just is the best thing in the world. Like when she laughs, like that deep down belly laugh, like she gets so tickled with the most simple things. That makes me really really smile.
Oh, that's so sweet. What noise or sound do you hate?
Hmm. What sound do I hate? I hate when like the noise that furniture dragging makes along the floors. Like you
Yeah.
could just, especially I know this sounds crazy, but especially across hardwood floors because I
Mhm.
know that it's tearing up the floor. So I'm like, ah, the hardwood floors. I hate furniture just dragging. I hate that noise.
Okay. Um, what profession other than your own would you like to try?
Ooh. I always tell folks if I wasn't a physician, I would definitely be a meteorologist.
Really?
Yes, I love the weather. I am such a nerd. Like when it's hurricane season, I remember my dad and I would get the hurricane tracking maps and we'll like dot the coordinates out. And I mean, in the middle of a hurricane, we'll be outside, like in the eye of the hurricane, just like really just being in the moment. It's crazy, but yeah, I would definitely be a meteorologist. Like this time of year when the winter storms and the snow is coming, I'm all for it. I love it. I
And
love it.
because you're family, I'm going to say this in love. You crazy girl, you crazy.
I know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I would definitely be a meteorologist for sure.
Gotcha. What profession would you not like to try?
Mm. Oof. Which profession would I not like to try? You know what? I would, especially in the times that we're in now, I would not want to be an ER physician.
Mm,
Oh God,
that's a good one. I can
yeah,
just imagine. Yeah.
couldn't pay me to do
Okay. And lastly, if heaven exists,
it.
what would you want to hear God say when you reach the pearly gates?
Well done.
All right. All right.
I don't need anything else but well done. You have done what I've asked you to do.
That's beautiful.
So
And you know what I got to tell you? I think grandma and granddaddy probably like that too. That's a good one.
I would hope so.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for coming on tonight. It was awesome and being on my first show of episode of season two, first episode of season two, and being able to showcase my family. I mean, it just means the world to me. And I said this to you before a long time ago, but remember when Jaden used to holler and cry when she had to go to the doctors? I cannot thank you enough for being that doctor let her know that doctors are not scary, that doctors can be nice, and
I'm glad I could be that for her. And like I always tell folks, representation matters.
it does. It does.
It does. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be your first guest on this season. And, it was a lot of fun.
Thanks. And to our audience out there, I will see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. with another new guest, probably family. You guys, until then, be blessed and have a great week.